Nice out of body heat. Slideshow animation. Look at me go. Marvin Smitty Smith. Victor Allen. Hot PiXX, our own. Yes. Hey, you guys may have noticed the newly installed features that we're using so much here at Pax Stereo. That new chat. It's the latest thing, the chat overlay. And Vic, I want you to know I got a notice from Restream.
Oh, you did?
And they claim, even I don't see it so far, they claim that there's a new integration with Facebook. And so that with Restream, we're supposed to be getting the chat in a minute. As you know, if you join the chat room at Twitch and our regular broadcasts or at Twitter, Periscope, whatever you chat gets actually fed into our online feed. And you get to join that chat and chat in front and on top of all of our broadcasts. One of the latest features is actually a gaming feature that we've installed at Pax Stereo TV. Well, up until now, the Facebook integration was lacking. But now supposedly that's going to be improved, even though I don't see it yet. So in a minute,
right,
that wonderful chat that we get from folks like Eric Black and from Phil Cusper, will show up in our streams.
Okay. It'll be a nice challenge.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be, that's what I was thinking. It'll be a nice challenge.
Yeah, and see if they're tweaking it.
See, grading your performance.
Right.
All right, you guys ready for some news? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Welcome to the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. I'm Mario Hemsley, and we have to start off this broadcast today in a solemn moment where we send our prayers out to all the folks who are suffering in Indonesia. The recent earthquake, over 800 folks dead. It's a tsunami, over 10-foot tsunami rolled through many parts. One of the islands was very much decimated. And so it's turning into a global humanitarian effort to come to their aid.
I was listening to the report on this. And, they have the earthquake warning system, and that province, that area, after they had the earthquake, they went a certain amount of time, and then said all clear, everything's good. And that's what gets me. And imagine that because I think what they were doing is timing out. Basically, there's not going to be a tsunami, and of course, you know what happened.
Well, that's the part I've always had. I guess, okay, so the issue is with an early warning system that giving you, and at most, they're not even giving you a minute. It's a matter of how many seconds.
Right.
I'm always unsure as how valuable. It may make the idea is that it could save lives.
Yeah.
Or you could just sort of freak out.
Right.
Because you have 20 seconds before
it
hits.
I'm not sure how long. I didn't get to see all the details, so I apologize. I'm not sure if it was an hour, 2 hours, or whatever. But obviously, they felt that once the initial threat passed, they thought it was okay. Now, I don't know if that would have made any difference, but I saw the footage of that water coming in. You know what? You're so used to waves, where the waves initially hit, and then it's all of a sudden it's a lull, but the water keeps rising. It keeps coming. And then there's all debris in it, so I really feel for them. So, blessings to the family. I hope it doesn't get too much worse on the numbers, but that was terrible.
Well, this is where you really need a global effort, here, power. These countries are poor enough in the beginning that they don't have the same infrastructure to respond. Right. So when they get one of these tragedies, they can't really muster the same type of response.
Right.
So again, we're looking forward to seeing whether or not the aid is coming from abroad. Wow. And a throwback this story really kind of came, and again, these are the stories that come across my desk. And a throwback to a different time. I found this recent story where a DNA test was done by a man who showed he was 4% black. And now he wants to qualify as a minority business owner.
Smart, right?
So I knew that would raise some discussion. But one of the things I had to do, Vic, I had to raise the issue of the historical perspective on this.
Right.
That once again, we're back in the courts defining what is black. And what's interesting is I don't see that the DNA helps. But one, I've long made the assertion that black has never been a scientific definition. It's always been a sociological. Back from the days when they defined quadroons and octoroons, they had laws that said if you were 1/8 black, you were black. If you were less than that, then you were white.
Right.
So now they have DNA. And so the part that makes it kind of crazy for me is that even though you have DNA, which is I'm not even going to get into the objective measurement, even though we could, of how that DNA studies were done, carried out, and what makes them correct or their degrees of correctness. We won't even get into that. But let's just assume you could do a DNA test that said percentage black. Okay, so what percentage would then be designated as black? What if you were 30% black? Would you be black? 15%. So no matter what, at some point in time, you have to assign blackness to a numerical value. You have to say what percentage of DNA. And that DNA may not even be expressed the same. You may have some people where the DNA, whatever percentage we determine is acceptable to define you as black, but that DNA may not express itself the same. Some people whose DNA says more black may end up looking more white.
True.
So they don't know. So I just wanted to bring it up. If you weren't confused enough in today's world, you could be confused about this.
Well, let me ask you this. There's the economic, there's the social. Obviously, everything that actually deals with not what people have to deal with, what they say, multi-complex DNA strands, meaning that, more you probably have 3 or 4 ancestries in your DNA. So the minority set aside was to somewhat present a measure of, not appeasement, I'm not going to say that, fairness in the economic competitive market based on who you are and how you are. If you also go back, there used to be this thing where now, Indians were tribalistic. Now, if everybody could say they're Native Americans, they love it to death. Why is that?
Well, it goes through fads. I mean, definitely it goes through fads. And that's part of the whole issue, even though, the issue is, what are you using the definition for? If you want to define yourself thusly, to what end? Why you want to do it? And then even I tend to be more flexible. In other words, to me, science is not the real answer. If you feel black or you feel Asian or you feel Latino in terms of your vibe, then I'm suggesting maybe that's the component that defines you, and maybe you are because you feel it. I think we are designed to bounce off of each other, and as we travel and meet other people, there are going to be those that we bond the most to. Some we like more than others. It's inevitable. You're going to go someplace and say, "Hey, I like these people."
Now, I'm going to help Mario with this because he had on one of my favorite subjects. Now, back in the day.
Oh, Lord.
Wait a minute.
All right, already it's skeptical.
No, it's a good thing. Watch.
Back in the day.
Now, Mario and I, we hung out a little. The nightlife. We were responsible. Mario walked across the room. He said, "Vic, just mess this girl, man. She's mixed with Brazilian, French, Greek, African." You would brag about it. When it was the woman, when you were in your social going, the more the mix, the better the, and you actually looked at it that way. Now, I have not run into a situation where I have to talk to women about this. Is that back in the day, if the brother was mixed with da, da, did you go bragging? What's different now?
I think maybe, but I think people are more accepting. Hey,
Right.
to me, those mixtures, those exotic mixtures,
Right.
are absolutely the most beautiful
Yes,
people
absolutely.
that you see. Those mixtures, everything, Asian and black, white and black, everything with black, Latin. I must have my bias on that. But even when you see the other Asian and Latin, I'm just saying, there are some the good Lord meant for us to mix up that DNA. And to that extent, you see some beautiful stuff.
Mm.
So, keep an ear out. Pretty soon they're going to define for you what is black in the court. In my weekly Trump disaster update, I wanted to bring out and remind you a couple of things. I stated in the previous broadcast that what happens if Kavanaugh is confirmed? And I want people to remember that it's not over. It's not over. Because there is no statute of limitations in Maryland, as far as, or D.C., with much, there's no statute of limitations, so you could be brought up on these charges. As of yet, I haven't heard any mention of anyone bringing in the local police. Because remember, since there is no statute, theoretically she could go into, Dr. Ford could go into a police station and make a statement and level charges that the local police, who are actually set up and designed to investigate this, would then be compelled to follow up on. And I think this is one of the things that people know is kind of lurking. I said before that the absolute best that could happen for the GOP would be that Kavanaugh remove himself from consideration. Next up is, I guess, Trump removing him. But remember, if he gets confirmed, does not mean that it's over. That is actually the beginning. In fact, for him, it's probably ongoing no matter what. Follow up to this, you can expect a civil suit. The attorneys that are helping and working with